Hey guys, it's Arissa and welcome back to my channel. We are talking all about concealers today, and I was inspired to do this because of my newest addition, which is the Too Faced Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer that I really like. So instead of just talking about this and reviewing this, I thought it'd be a good opportunity for me to update you on my 5 favorite concealers. And I am going through some breakouts down here that I believe are related to stress, so I think it's a good opportunity to talk about what I use to cover it up and overall what I like to use under my eyes, especially because you're gonna have some dark circles when you're stressed out and tired and all of that. So we're gonna get into that Too Faced concealer, and then I'll go down the line and talk about my other favorites. So first up with this Born This Way concealer, I have 3, which is pretty typical of me. I will get multiple shades whenever I like a product. And I have here Warm Beige, Light Beige, and Swan. This is the lightest shade in their collection, and I wanted to get this because these 2 shades are a little bit deeper than what I actually needed. I ended up buying these online, and I thought that light beige was gonna be my perfect match, but it's still a little bit too dark. So I got a lighter shade, and I like to mix them together to get my perfect shade. So I used Warm Beige today almost like a liquid bronzer. So I used it all around my face and then all in this area right here, and I think it did a really nice job. You don't need that much. I ended up putting kind of like lines of it around my face, but I only needed to put dots. So that's something to keep in mind, but I think it blends so well and it looks really beautiful on the skin. And then with light beige, it's a little bit deeper than my skin, so I like to use it for color correcting, and I think it does a really great job. It's supposed to be full coverage, and I do agree it is pretty much full coverage. I like to use this right in the inner part of my under eye for color correcting, and then some spots that I have throughout my face. And then I will put the Swan shade, the lighter shade, all over any areas where I put in the light beige, and then mixing them together gives me a really nice color match. Building this up, it looks really beautiful. Blending it out with a damp sponge, I love it. And it does leave you with a pretty dewy finish, so I always like to set this, and I set all my concealers anyway. I do have oily skin. It just leaves you with a slight tacky, dewy finish. In terms of packaging, it is pretty bulky if you compare it to the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, but you do get a ton of product. You get 0.5 fluid ounces in here. And it also just sits really well on the vanity, like you'll usually see it back here for me. And the applicator is very similar to the Tarte Shape Tape. It's that really big doe foot applicator. This one, to me, you still get the good coverage, but it's not as thick. And with the Tarte Shape Tape, it just looks a lot more obvious on your skin. Now that I'm trying other things, I am realizing that I prefer this formula over the Tarte Shape Tape. And then next up is my favorite of all time, the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, but I will say that this one is getting pretty close to taking this top spot. So again, I have 3 shades here. I have Vanilla, which is the lighter shade, Creme Brûlée, which is a perfect match for me, and then Canelle, which is slightly deeper than my skin, and I use it to color correct. This is the one that I tend to travel with. It's so reliable for me, and you get a little bit more of a medium coverage compared to the Too Faced one, but I like going for a very natural look, so medium coverage is fine for me. Although it has the word radiant in the name, I think that this leans a little bit more on the matte side compared to the Too Faced one. And if you have drier skin, I have oily skin, so I like this formula, but if you have drier skin, I think that you'd really have to moisturize your under eye area to make this look really good. But I think overall, it should be good for almost anyone, I think, but that's just something to keep in mind. This one does give a little bit more of a dewy, hydrated finish compared to this. And then for my 3 drugstore concealers, the first one is one that I put on my spots, which is perfect for a day like today, and this is the Neutrogena SkinClearing Blemish Concealer. I have 2 of these, but they're actually the same shade, and this is a perfect color match for me. I like to put this on my spots. I think the salicylic acid does help my skin, and the coverage of this is also really nice. I do think that it conceals pretty well, so if you have issues with some acne here and there, spots on your face, I do recommend it. And this next one I've talked about a few times already, but this is the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Concealer, and I have it in the shade Ivory and Light. Ivory is a little bit lighter than me, and then Light is the perfect match for me. So for this one, it says on the Maybelline website that it's supposed to reduce the look of dark circles, spots, and imperfections for better looking skin in just 3 weeks. I don't really notice that, or I don't really look out for that, so that's not really something that I can get on board with and say, yes, it does lighten up your spots and your dark circles. I'm not gonna say that, but in the moment when it's on your skin, I think it looks really nice, and I think it's also very easy to blend. I would say it's medium coverage, and you definitely have to go in with a deeper shade to color correct and then a lighter shade to brighten, but that's pretty much what you have to do with any concealer. At least that's what I always recommend. It's a little bit more liquidy than the NARS one, but it's very similar in terms of coverage. And then my last favorite is like a YouTube beauty OG favorite, and this is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser for Dark Circles. I have them in the shade Neutralizer and Brightener. So this one I definitely use more for color correcting and brightening, whereas the other ones I will use more to put all over my face because they match my skin tone a little bit more. You could definitely go for the shades that are just your skin match. They have the shade light and medium, I think, and all those. But I ended up going for shades like Neutralizer, which is a pale yellow, and that is good to color correct that under eye darkness. And then on top of that, I will put on Brightener, which is a pink shade, a slight almost salmon shade, and this is really good to really lift and brighten that under eye area. And then every day is different. I just kind of sit down at my vanity and decide, what do I really feel like my skin needs today? And if my under eye area looks really, really dark, then I'll go in with a deeper shade to color correct. Sometimes I feel like I don't need that, and I might just go straight in with a shade that is a color match for me. So it really just depends on the day. So that is it for my 5 favorite liquid concealers. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And what are your favorite concealers? Do you guys use the ones that I talked about here? Do you have any other favorites? I do have some other ones in my collection, but they just didn't really make the top 5. At the end of the day, I don't think anyone seeing me in person really notices, but I just enjoy trying all these different concealers. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do post videos on Sundays and Thursdays, so please subscribe if you're interested to see more, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.